Hi guys, it's been a while. I've always had this problem where I start building on something, work really hard on it for a while, and then just get burned out and lose all interest. Have you ever felt that way? You always do. But the thing is, I always come back to game development, but by the time I do that, I would have already forgotten what I was doing earlier. So I just scrap everything and start something new, and the cycle just continues. So I thought, why not just log my progress and make it public? I'm not gonna try and make anything huge, at least not initially, but I always wanted to make a turn-based strategy game, something like the Fire Emblem series, and that's what I'm trying to do. Building it brick by brick, maybe 1 or 2 hours a day, and posting short updates here, talking about it. And so today I just started it, and I've given the project the name Kariikut. It's kind of a play on my home city, and might change in the future, but for now it is Kariikut. So for today, I just started with a grid system, like a basic one. I'm just spawning quads on top of a terrain right now, and that's because in a tactics game like Fire Emblem, grid does a lot of things, like defining the path a unit can go, and you can also have different types of grids, like something that gives you damage over time or burn damage, etc. So the grid system just felt like the obvious starting point for a game like this. Actually, I kind of need to change the terrain height and width here to match the grid size. So 50 by 50. So the way I did it is I got a grid manager script that when the game starts, spawns a tile prefab at every grid position. And the tile prefab is basically just a quad laid out flat. So for a 50 by 50 grid, that's like 2,500 little quads laid out, all parented under an empty game object so that my hierarchy doesn't explode. And the tile data contains details about the tile, like the position on the grid it is occupying, and the terrain type is just an enum that I would like to make in the future to define what kind of tile it is. Maybe like a tile that gives you burn effect, or maybe a tile that heals you, something like that. And unit obviously is the unit that's occupying the tile, if any. Otherwise, it's just going to be null, I guess. And I might expand this to have items or objects occupying the tile as well, but that's something for the future. Now, the reason I went with 50 by 50 is because I wanted to see how far I could push this before the engine cries, because spawning thousands of game objects sounds like a terrible idea. Every tutorial tells you not to, so I wanted to actually measure it. I dropped in a quick memory check. That's what these lines in the start does, except for generate grid that generates the grid. So uh, using Unity's profiler API, just grab the allocated memory before generating the grid, grab it again after, and subtract to find the amount of memory that is required for spawning a 50 by 50 grid. And here, if you check the console message, grid memory is just a little over 9 MB for 2,500 tiles. And the frame rate I was having was around 200. It just dropped probably because I have OBS player open, but I can always like reduce the number of grids, I guess. I don't really want 50 by 50 grid on every map. That's just the maximum I think like a map would need. So let's see if I go 30 by 30. Yeah, there it is. I do see going up to 150 now, but that's with the OBS player open, and if I close it, might even go to 200. So that's good enough for now. And also, as I brought down the grid size, now the grid memory is just a little over 3 MB, which is kind of nothing. And oh, one other thing I did to reduce the memory usage and maybe increase the FPS is turn cast shadows on my tiles off, because we don't really need shadows for our tiles, do we? Yeah, it's kind of obvious. So yeah, that's kind of it, all I've done for now. So I'll try to record more of what I've done and post it regularly. So thank you. Bye.